In today's video, I want to cover the electricals of the Harbor Freight dual blast cabinet build. Now, when these cabinets are produced, they're sent with these single bulbs. I believe they're fluorescent, they may be LED. Either way, they're not bright enough for what I want to do. In fact, one of the biggest complaints that I see is the lack of lighting in these cabinets from the factory. After doing some research, I found one of the most recommended upgrades is using these outside sockets with these PAR 38 floodlights. I installed two, one on each side of the cabinet, and pointed them in the direction of each individual blast gun. Also wired into the same circuit is the Harbor Freight dust collector. Now, I wanted to have this wired in such a way that when I flip this switch on the side, everything, that is the lights and the dust collector, turn on and off at the same time. Now, I currently have the dust collector turned off so that I can make a video. Any other time, the switch would have been on and all this would have turned on at the same time. I believe the dust collector is rated somewhere around 12 amps, so with the addition of the lights, I became concerned that 15 amp components may not have been sufficient enough. Now, I'm not an electrician, so I can't give any advice on how to do this. I'm just going to show how I did it. I don't recommend anybody do any electrical work if they're not certified. I was fortunate enough to have a friend come check everything out before I plugged it in, and I'm glad I did, because I did make a mistake. You'll notice later in the video some 12-2 yellow cable coming out of this box. It was only temporarily installed so that I could power this cabinet up and test everything properly. I began with a heavy-duty 20 amp male connector here at the end. I have about 6 foot of, I believe they call it SK flexible cable. It's just extension cable. It feeds power into this single box here, which first goes through this switch. The first floodlight inside is tied into this box, wired in parallel. I have this armored cable that ties into the switch here that then sends power down into the other side of the cabinet. Power is then fed into this junction box right here. I have a heavy-duty 20 amp plug-in. The spotlight or fog light is also fed into this junction box and tied together right here. And then the dust collector ties into the plug-in. Now, the mistake I made was with the hot and ground wires. I had them swapped. I believe the black hot wire is supposed to go to the gold terminal and the white neutral wire is supposed to go to the silver terminal. Not being an electrician, I made that mistake. And luckily for me, my friend caught that. Now, after I had the cabinet inspected and I made the corrections that needed to be made, I took the time and took electrical tape and wrapped up all the acorn connectors inside and also around the switches and the plug-in so I wouldn't have any kind of arcing inside. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more content. Be sure to also leave me a comment below. I want to know what you think.